The Department of Homeland Security is working to back up the president's threat to send more federal law enforcement into major Democrat-run cities where there is no law enforcement, it seems. There are reports this evening that at least 150 federal agents could soon be on their way to Chicago. And joining us now is Ken Cuccinelli, Acting Deputy Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. Ken, good to have you with us. What we're watching, I have to say, it is beyond comprehension that these mayors, these Democratic-run cities, are simply throwing their hands in the air and watching and seemingly enjoying the show that threatens the lives, the safety of their citizens.
I mean, the three cities you've talked about here, four really, with Seattle, Portland, New York, and Chicago. I wouldn't say the mayors are throwing their hands in the air. I'd say they're encouraging violent criminals. And unfortunately, the consequences are played out in those cities, and the innocent and the guilty alike are caught up in it. There are lots of businesses destroyed. There are people's families and livelihoods that are being ruined by this violence. And the president has been very clear, as you showed there, Lou. He's been very clear which side he's on. And that's why he's ordered us in Department of Homeland Security into Portland to back up our officers who are defending federal property and federal facilities and life itself in those cities. But there's only so much the federal government can do. The president has made it very clear we're going to do that.
Well, you better not go in there thinking about limits, because this is out of control. And if you're not going to get it under control, don't bother with the trip. The truth of the matter is you haven't had a cry from the mayor's office because they're instigating, leading all of this in some instances. You haven't had a cry from the local media. It is extraordinary. And where are the citizens, private citizens in this country, who should be demanding far more, at least protection of their police departments while they... Well, let me finish, Ken.
Yeah, sure.
Who should be demanding this and demanding that the president send in federal forces from your department and others?
Well, first of all, in these communities, I think that they're scared of the people that are tearing up their cities, because they know they don't have the local support that is the lasting, forever community protection, that they're local police. And we saw this in St. Louis with that one couple. And look at how some of the authorities turned on those folks, although it was a good reminder why the Second Amendment exists. This is a long-term undertaking, and the results of encouragement by these political people on the left. Mayor Wheeler did this 2 years ago as well, when he openly said, when an ICE facility out there was being under siege, he publicly said, we're pulling the police out, we're pulling them back. And of course, we advanced more officers there to take care of that facility. We arrested a bunch of people, but he's openly taking the side of those breaking the law, and he continues to do it year after year in Portland.
So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What is the administration going to do about it? What is the Republic? Well, let me finish the question, because it does go on. What is the Republican Party going to do? You've got this situation in nearly every big city on the coast, nearly every major city in the center part of the country. This is a big deal, because this is this close to being insurrection. This isn't just another Antifa demonstration. These people are in with collapsible batons. They haven't shown they've been smart enough to not be caught with a pistol, a revolver, in any way that I'm aware of in any of these demonstrations. But this is clearly an effort to disrupt and to simply take over the country.
Yeah, they've undertaken new tactics. So like you mentioned, if one of these folks was caught with a handgun breaking the law, there's a mandatory minimum sentence for that. But there isn't with a baton. There isn't with these other, heck, they're bringing loaded food cans to throw at a law enforcement officer. Well, if that hits you in the head, it's going to do plenty of damage. And with the same thing with slingshots and other things. And we only have part of our national leadership obviously the president is part of that, that's willing to make the adjustments to the law to bring these people to justice meaningfully, really as felons rather than just these little misdemeanors. But we've put the officers in place to do it. Where the violence grows, we've been advancing officers. You see that in Portland most notably, but it's gone on in other cities around the country for several months now.
I love the fact that the folks in Seattle and Portland wanting the Department of Homeland Security to apologize for enforcing the law. I was awfully pleased, Ken,
and we
to
will
see
not
that
apologize
the department
for that.
had the guts. Well, good for you, good for the department. It's time to do what you're doing, and we appreciate everything you are doing.
Yep.
Ken Cuccinelli, thanks so much. Great to have you here.